The generic geriatric cyclist. Hello everybody, I'm John Smith, the generic geriatric cyclist. Today I'll be in Salisbury, Maryland doing a metric century. Come on and ride along with me. The Seagull Century in Salisbury, Maryland was supposed to be the centerpiece of my cycling season. However, I was never able to ride enough miles to make riding a full century possible, so I'm doing the metric century instead. It will hopefully still be my season's high point. The Seagull Century is the flattest event this side of the Midwest. Flat is exactly what I need this year. Even then, 100 kilometers might well be a challenge for me if the shore winds blow. According to Ride with GPS, the metric century ride is 65.7 miles, with only about 600 feet of elevation gain. For once, my weight won't be an impediment, or an excuse. It's going to be a beautiful ride, and I've been looking forward to it. The scenery on the Delmarva Peninsula is stunning, and the roads are well maintained. I rode in this area a few times last October, but since I didn't know the roads, I didn't venture far from the familiar. Unlike the full century ride, the metric century route doesn't reach Ocean City, and it doesn't go to Assateague Island, where the wild ponies roam the dunes. These are the only places in the state of Maryland that I'm familiar with, so every road will be a new experience. The Seagull Century is a popular ride with a 5,000 rider registration limit. It should be a big day with a lot going on. Susan and I arrived in Salisbury the afternoon before the ride. We're staying in a B&B with the very macho name of the Princess Anne Book Lovers Inn, just outside of town. However, I don't expect to do much reading this weekend. The inn's host, Heidi, was born in England, but I guess you could have guessed that. We stayed in the Langston Hughes room, where the furnishings recall the Harlem Renaissance of the 1920s. I registered at Salisbury University, the sponsor of the event. It was great to get that out of the way, so tomorrow I just have to show up and ride. I hope that 222 is a lucky number for me. There was an exhibition in the gym. It had an upbeat, celebratory vibe. Event day, 8:30 a.m. Here I go. The metric century follows yellow arrows. The markings are so frequent that even I might not get lost.
Oh, yellow.
And in a ride with this many participants, there are always people to follow. Even though we're still in Salisbury and only a few hundred yards from the main highway, it already has a rural feel. Within minutes, we're riding in hardcore farmland, great roads with almost no traffic at all. It's a dream come true for a cyclist. People didn't seem to be going too fast in the early part of the ride, but the pace picked up before long. I'm trying my best to keep my pace steady at something I can stick to for over 4 hours of riding. We drove through the campus of the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. It was so quiet and free of people that it felt eerie, like it was abandoned. Then I realized, what college students are awake at 9 a.m. on a Saturday? Then we rode down the main street of my adopted town for the weekend, Princess Anne. We're now approaching the first rest stop at about 18 miles. Not much to say, I ate a banana. But then I saw this guy. Amazing voice. I thought it was the record at first.
Just talking about my girl. I got sunshine on a cloudy, cloudy day. Even in the month of May. Just talking about my girl.
Back on the road now, fueled by my banana and a full water bottle. When I heard that this route was flat, I figured that there'd be at least some elevation changes. But no, it's flat, incredibly flat. Grades were never more than 1% up or down. Surprisingly, this caused me to have to adapt to the conditions and ride with constant pedal pressure, the way I was always told to ride, but never listened. I'm in the bad habit of pressing up hills and cruising down the other side. I know that's not what I should do, but don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about the flat terrain. I mean, how could I? It's just an observation that it forces me to ride the way I'm supposed to ride, and that's a new sensation for me. Now I'm coming into the second rest stop at about 40 miles. Time for a Porta-John stop and another banana. Surprisingly, with about 25 more miles to go, my legs feel pretty good. But there won't be any video for the rest of the event because the GoPro battery just went kaput. Throughout the rest of the ride, my legs still felt pretty good. It was the rest of my body that felt like quitting. But finish I did. Here's the proof. The people gathered at the finish line were amazing in offering applause and encouragement. I have to draw attention to this group of riders, the Velo City, get it? Velocity Bicycle Club from Baltimore. About 30 riders from the club showed up and rode together. I was impressed. Then, as all bicycle events end, the Seagull Century ended with consuming mass quantities of food under a big tent. So now, my cycling season has effectively come to an end. An assessment of the damages will be forthcoming. So now, for as long as conditions allow, I'll ride for enjoyment with no other agenda. But episodes will keep coming, and I hope that you'll watch them. So now, thanks for watching, and so long.